We are live. We're live, my friends.
I'm here.
What's up? I'm here. Come get me. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. What up, everybody? Welcome to Horror Movie Club. I'm your host, the beloved Brian Christgau. And to the am I pointing? Yeah, I am pointing in the right direction.
Oh, me
Is
too.
sexiest man alive, Matt Butch Cleaver Burke.
I wish.
I'm like fucking your name.
Not really,
shit.
but
That's
thanks.
terrible. Yeah, sorry, we got the giggles because we're like just like Fraga had me on the other night and was doing like his Schwarzenegger, which is as good as Kevin Pollak's William Shatner,
Oh,
and he does the definitive Shatner.
Smart.
I think.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
But yeah, Fraga had me like literally in tears. I literally couldn't talk.
Yeah, I heard him do it. It's pretty good. Yeah,
It's like perfect.
My buddy,
perfect. Scary.
my buddy used to call people. He used to prank call people like the Jerky Boys. I'm sure a lot of people did, but he had this program where this is back in the day. You know?
Yeah.
I'm a cop,
Yeah.
you idiot. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
John
dude.
Kimmel. I'm a cop, you idiot.
My name is not Quaid.
See you at the party, Richter.
It was crazy, man. Like my brother had like these like wah-wah pedals and something that I could plug a microphone into. I don't even know what it was, but I could do crazy things with my voice. And
Probably the guitar pedal or something.
Yeah. Something.
Or a PA maybe.
Yeah, it was a PA actually.
I got one of those out in the garage.
Oh man, I would just like, oh god, prank phone. Oh, we're so into prank phone calls, man. We were bad.
Oh yeah, man.
Bad. You know, and then of course when the Jerky Boys came out, it was just like, oh my god, like somebody's actually turned this into an art form.
And they monetized it a little bit.
And they monetized it. Yeah, but then they fucked up because one of them got too greedy.
Yeah.
And was like,
watch that greed.
It's like, no, like people like my character better, so I deserve more money.
Oh man.
Like really? And then you're gonna do that to your boy. You're gonna do that to your boy that fucking came up with you, right? But
it happens a lot too, though. You know what I mean?
It does.
Like when two guys come up together, they always split. Like as soon as they get the taste of that fucking gold in their mouth, you know?
Terrible.
Then
Terrible.
they split. They just gotta.
Not always, but a lot.
It happens a lot. Like usually with two dudes, you know.
Well, also because it's not just about money; it's also about status and ego. And like I always say, like in this comic book game, it's like that's your worst enemy, man. You got to put that shit aside, especially when you're and also, it's like then you're taking the fun out of it. And all you need to care about is just the finished product. It's not like, oh god, I sound like a broken record here. I know people have heard me say this like a billion times. Fuck it, I'll say it again. Don't work with people that are going to be like, well, my idea is better because it's my idea. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if like when I'm working with Preston, he comes up with an idea that like blows mine out of the water. I'm not like, oh shit, that idea is better than mine. I'm like, bonus, like, oh awesome, yeah, that'll be rad, let's do that.
It's great for the project, I mean, it's best for the team, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it's just gonna make the overall product better and the experience for the the backer, the person watching it is gonna love it more, you know what I mean?
And that's all you should be caring about. And the other great thing is people aren't even gonna know. No, and I'm the writer, so I could take credit for all that shit. Hell, man, remember that page? Oh, that blew me away. Yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah, that was all me.
That was all me. Anyway, we're talking tonight about the Mario Bava classic, Blood and Black Lace. Mario Bava. Where do I start with Mario Bava? Mario Bava is the original Italian horror director insofar as being a icon. The first Italian horror director was Riccardo Freda. He did Caltiki, the Immortal Monster. That's the first Italian horror movie, to the best of my knowledge. Unless one just like happens just to pop up one of these days. And Mario Bava was his assistant director. And then, of course, he ended up making horror movies of his own. His debut, I believe, was Black Sunday.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I haven't seen it. I know it's a big one.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's so iconic. It's man, I got to they showed that at the Alamo Yonkers, right, which is like right across the bridge for me, right across the Tappan Zee Bridge. And so got to see that on a big screen, beautiful 4K print. Then afterwards they had a little feminist deconstructionist lecture. Got up and peace out. No, I mean, I was willing just to sit and listen, right? But then they're like, immediately I hear them like, because I was like nudging my boy Chris, my horror buddy. Like some people have drug buddies. I have I've got a horror buddy, right? And I'm just like sleazy horror and like, Italian horror, like, cult horror, bro, right? And I nudge him. I'm just like, watch, they're going to unpack it. He's like, what? They're going to unpack it. Like, what do you mean? Well, like SJWs, like they're very into unpacking things.
Yeah.
Right. And so the movie ends and these chicks get up, and I'm absolutely willing to give them the benefit of a doubt. No, I'm not like, they're women. Ew, I don't want to hear it. Right? I'm not a member of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Let's put it that way, right? Okay. And I'm thinking, oh, cool. Like, these are like maybe horror chicks. They'll be down, right? And, maybe I'll be able to, and they're looking kind of cute. Maybe I'll get a phone number or two. And immediately like, oh boy, there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there?
Right.
And my friend just looks at me like, how did you know? I was like,
pack what? You're like, I just
unpack what?
Some fucking movie, dude. Some horror
movie.
It's
a fucking horror movie. I mean,
yeah,
of
right.
course, get into it because I mean, it's layered, and the Barbara Steele is incredible in it. It's the first movie in which she plays a dual role. And she did this for a number of years in her career, where she, usually in Gothic horror movies, you have the doe-eyed virgin and you have the all-destroying bitch goddess. And she would play both roles in the same movie.
That's pretty awesome.
Which is amazing.
It's quite the character arc too, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It goes from, little forest, you know what I mean, to like fucking the Dark Tower, you know what I mean? Out of nowhere.
Yeah, very fairy tale like, and she could knock both of those parts out too. Although the all destroying bitch goddess was always there's just one of these days, hopefully we'll watch it for this show. But when Color came around, a lot of people were saying the official word was horror is dead.
Oh.
You're not going to be able to have. Yeah, I know, right?
I heard that actually.
Yeah, they were like, "That's it." It's like, what are we going to do? It's like you're not going to be able to make horror movies anymore because horror movies are all about the black and white and the shadows.
Yeah,
right.
Drama.
Yeah, and that brooding Gothic atmosphere. And Mario Bava came along, and Hammer horror movies came along, and they showed that it could be done.
Yeah, real vivid nightmare. You know what I mean? Like just with just the whole 70s and 60s, and all the blood. That's I think that would probably get in your psyche even more because it's a full color. You can remember it pretty good.
But like the first Hammer movie was in the 50s, was A Curse of Frankenstein, and that's pretty ripe. For its time. And then after that, they did a Dracula movie, of course, with the legendary Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing.
Oh, man. Love those movies.
Yeah, they're amazing because
he's my favorite, man.
Oh my God, who, Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee?
Christopher Lee. I mean, Gary Oldman's my all-time favorite Dracula, but Christopher Lee is Dracula. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You know, and so cool, man.
Yeah, there's actually
he is
oh, dude. And then in Count Dracula, which is a movie he did with the Spanish director Jess Franco, he has the mustache.
Yeah, the Bram Stoker's more faithfully adapted one, right?
And yeah, and the gray hair that's gradually turning black.
Mm-hmm.
Looks exactly like him. Because really, that's the only thing that this Dracula was missing was the stash. That was about it.
Dude, I seen a book at Barnes and Noble where they had a Dracula starring Bela Lugosi, and it was like a graphic novel, but a big book. You know what I mean? And it was, what if you took Bela Lugosi and put him into like a faithfully adapted version of Bram Stoker's Dracula? So he has like the black coat, and I think he has the mustache in the beginning of the story.
No shit.
Yeah, and it's illustrated like black and white painting kind of. But it looked cool. It was at Barnes and Noble. I was like, damn, I want to get this shit because it just looked cool. It looked like Eric Powell kind of drew it, you know.
Oh man,
you would have fucking loved it.
Is this like officially licensed? Like it's Bela Lugosi? Okay,
yeah.
Because Bela Lugosi Jr. Yes, folks, there's a Bela Lugosi Jr. He's a lawyer, actually, an entertainment lawyer in Hollywood. Is very, very. I don't want to say stingy, but he's always very reluctant to put his father's image on anything. That's why if you get like official Universal Monsters Dracula, it never looks like Lugosi. It's never his likeness.
Ever. This one has to be because it's like his face is right there and he's like that, and it's Bela Lugosi in Bram Stoker's Dracula starring Bela Lugosi, you know. And I was like, oh wow, this is.
I had the actually Sideshow put out one that was like had Bella's likeness, and I snapped that up, but I ended up selling that on eBay because I was just like, I saw how much it was going for. I was just like, yeah, I can part with this.
I think this one was like $20, dude, and it was part of their like Halloween display right when you walk in there, you know, at the Barnes and Noble. I was just like, oh, this is something a little different. Yeah, and that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, the original, the Todd Browning Dracula with Lugosi, unfortunately, is a terrible movie. It's a crashing bore. I mean, in my opinion, Lugosi, of course, is great, but I actually prefer his performance in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
That's what I kind of grew up on, was Abbott Costello Meet the Wolfman and then Frankenstein, because they did two of them, I think, right? And that was
no, they only did one.
They only did the one, right? I thought they did two.
Well, they also did Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was with Karloff. They did Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, which I loved as a kid. Tried watching it recently. It didn't hold up very well, or maybe I was just in the wrong mood. I don't know. I loved it when I was a kid, right? But Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, that is the best horror comedy ever made.
Did you ever see I forgot about this, but I watched it a lot as a kid. My dad was really into it, and I watched a lot. Was the Phantom of the Opera with Claude Rains?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The problem with that is that the Phantom is hardly in it.
Yeah, he's in. Yeah.
It's not like it's a musical. It's a musical, right?
Yeah.
It's the first, right? Because like when I heard that there was going to be a Broadway musical version of the Phantom of the Opera, I was psyched because I thought that's perfect, right? That's the perfect horror story, the perfect horror novel / movie, because the novel's great, by the way. And the original, the one from like 1920 with Lon Chaney Sr. is very faithful, actually. To the
I haven't seen that one. I'm going to check it out.
Oh, it's great. Oh, it's really good. It's really good. I got to see that in a old church with a pipe organ accompanying.
Oh, wow. That's sick. That's badass, dude.
Yeah. Oh, dude. It was awesome. Yeah. And yeah, that was certifiable badass, because this was like one of those giant old pipe organs. There you go.
You ever seen that one?
Oh, with Robert Englund?
Yeah.
A lot, like 30
I like
years
this
ago.
one, dude. It's like Freddy Krueger as fucking the Phantom, you know?
I have to see it again. I do have
he's
a
got
copy.
like a skull mask and shit. He's fucking.
Oh yeah, he's like sewing people's skin, like
cutting them off.
That's the mask. Is like he just like takes pieces of other people's faces and just like sews them onto his face. There's a real grisly scene where he's removing the skin because it starts to rot. And
it's a movie within a movie too, because it's like he's like writing a script or something in modern times, and he's going back and
there's a time travel thing. Yeah, I need to watch it again. I need to watch it again. I haven't seen that in like 30 years. Oh God! And then there's the Dario Argento version, which is just horrible.
Really
horrible. Yeah.
I also want to see Phantom of the Paradise. I never watched that movie, but I've seen like parts of it, but I never watched it all the way through, and I know it's fucking pretty awesome. I've seen
magnificent, magnificent. Yeah. Like one of De Palma's best movies. Really, 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 really good. Yeah, we were talking about that last week because Jessica Harper
about Claude Rains and shit. You know, and they also did a family opera too on TV back in the day. I liked, but it was. I mean, if you were to go back, it'd suck. But with the Charles Dance, you know who he is.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
He played family opera. I remember watching that as a kid.
Yeah.
But I never seen the Gerard Butler one. The Schumacher one, I think.
I can't bring myself to watch it. I can't bring myself to watch it. Well, it's first of all Gerard Butler, hard no for me, unless he's in 300. Like that's the only best movie. That's it, right?
Dracula was all right, but it was still kind of like it was still weak. You know what I mean?
Horrible.
But it wasn't, you know.
But and also Joel Schumacher, right? Yeah. And I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna make this gay,
yeah,
right? The way that he did the Batman and Robin movies. Now, I am far from being a homophobe, but Batman is not gay,
right?
And do you really have to do this? And then again, Superman's gay now, so hey, right?
Right.
These things can change. He was ahead of his time. But it's what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned Claude Rains,
The Invisible Man. I remember watching that a lot as a kid too, man.
That holds up really well.
He kills a lot of people in that movie too.
He's got
the highest body count out of everybody in the Universal verse. Did you see the remake, the Blumhouse one? Did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you hate it or what?
I fucking hated it. What was your take?
Thought it was all right. I mean, but it's not. It's totally a modern thing, but it's not.
There's no Invisible Man. There's no Invisible. Okay, spoiler. Exactly. Spoiler alert. There is no Invisible Man in the new Invisible Man movie.
Mm.
I mean, it has nothing to do with the original H.G. Wells story. And the original H.G. Wells story, here's the thing about H.G. Wells. Boy, I'm like digression upon digression. But H.G. Wells was a horror writer.
Yeah.
He's remembered as a science fiction author, right? Because he would go into the science, like, okay, well, yeah, exactly. And he would also like in the Invisible Man, he was like, okay, how could you conceivably make somebody invisible? And then he got into the idea of bending light.
Yeah.
Right? Which we're very familiar with now. And of course, that's what that suit does in the remake. It bends light. Like the Predator suit bends light.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make you invisible. It creates the illusion of invisibility. It's not like you're actually transparent. Which makes a lot of more sense, right? Than like turning all your internal organs and everything in invisible.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
John Carpenter.
Oh man,
I like that movie a lot as a kid. But I mean, I was a kid, But you know what else I liked? I know we're going off, but it's a fucking weird movie, but I like it a lot. Yeah. Nothing But Trouble. Dan Aykroyd directed. Fucking love that movie.
Yeah,
love that movie. Vulcanvania. That's what they were gonna name it. That was the name of it, right?
Yeah. I've never seen it.
Oh, you never seen it? Oh, dude, it's like fucking yeah, it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre mixed with like just like a wacky comedy, dude. You know what I mean? It's horror, dude. You know what I mean? And it was gonna be rated R, but they like butchered it up. You know, it's kind of like you got to check it out. It's definitely worth a watch, but it's cheesy.
Okay.
You know, but yeah,
well, I love cheese.
It's cheesy. Dan Aykroyd. It was like his movie. Yeah. Minty Comedic Arts does a pretty good documentary on it. I don't know if you ever heard of Minty, but he's this Australian guy that does 10 things you didn't know about, and he just does all different genres of movies.
Did you say Emil Minty?
No, it's just called Minty.
Minty.
Or his show's called Minty Comedic Arts, but it's on YouTube.
Okay, all right. Because I was thinking Emil Minty from like Mad Max 2. Oh. Yeah, I have action figures of everybody that we're talking about.
The little kid with the boomerang.
Yeah. And
he tries to catch it, and his little like phalanges flip off.
Oh, the toady. Yeah. His fingers go flying. Douchebag. And then he ends up, of course, killing this guy. Wes's bottom.
Oh man. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because like I'm laughing my ass off because I'm thinking of the movie and the shit that goes on, you know. And
it's one of the best movies ever. But yeah, so we were talking about Mario Bava. All right, so he starts doing movies in color, and they're friggin' amazing. And one of the first ones is Blood and Black Lace, and it is. Some people say that it's like the original Body Count movie. I would say that no, that would probably go to 10 Little Indians, right? But that's not a horror film. That's like a murder mystery. Blood and Black Lace is in the giallo genre. Giallo means yellow. Yellow being the color of the covers or the spines of these lurid murder mysteries that they would pulp novels that were very popular in Italy at the time, and also in Germany. You know, they translate them, and the Germans love that lurid shit as much as the Italians do, and so when they started making movies that were inspired by these books. They called them the same thing. They were gialli, would be the plural. Gialli. So whenever you hear giallo or a giallo movie, that's what they're talking about. Basically, they're whodunits, but they're brutal.
Yeah, definitely.
And right, like this, especially for its time, you're like, God damn.
Yeah.
Right. The killer in this is a bruiser, right? Like in the beginning, when he commits the first murder, like he strangles this chick, but I mean, it's like he's having
some fun with that shit. Like, damn, you killed her like fucking 10 times already. He's like, motherfucker, like he's taking it all out on her. You know what I mean?
Right. Just like,
just like, damn,
struggling and let me kill you, bitch.
Mad. And I see, like you're talking about the Femmies unpacking some shit because of the end of the movie, right? About the whole orchestration of said character, right? That's probably what they're talking. And it's a female, that's on top. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much.
No, well, there was Black Sunday, actually.
Okay. I thought it was probably this one.
Yeah.
We kind of was trying to usurp, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I would say that there'd be a lot. This would very definitely would trigger them. Without a question. If you're a SJW, you might want to stay away from this one. I mean, it's not as bad as it gets. It's not New York Ripper.
I still gotta see that one. I haven't seen that shit yet. But...
Oh, and that shit's on Tubi, son.
Damn.
Yeah.
There's a scene in here. One of the victims, she has a diary that they're that she's burning. Because
yes,
some dirt, right? And home
MacGuffin.
The killer comes up, and the killer's like, whap, 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 whap. Like this fucking busts a fat ass combo on that bitch. Like, damn, dog. But he's like, what, and I was like, damn, he's fast. I was like, that shit's hilarious. I just thought it was kind of funny, dude. But I was just like,
no,
damn, that's fucked up.
No, it is. But that's the thing. It's like, that's the point, is it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is
right?
fucked up. And I like the mask too, man. Kind of reminded me of like Rorschach and the Shadow and the Question a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you should say that. Because I was just about to bring that up. There we go. People
and
have
Madonna
drawn
from Dick Tracy.
Right. Yeah. It's, obviously the whole nothing face concept.
Yeah.
Right. The big blank, which we would see also, of course, much later with Michael Myers. If was there an influence there? Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Was it conscious? I don't know, because sometimes things work are their way into our art subconsciously.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it takes somebody else pointing it out, like, "Oh, you got this from that, didn't you?" And
like, no, I didn't.
No, I didn't. And then, oh shit, I did.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes they do, and then sometimes I think also it's just people like think the same, dude, and they have the same shit in their head sometimes, and they don't even fucking know. You know what I mean?
Of course. But
then there's just stuff where we forget too, where we saw like just an image, a photograph, and it crept back into our creative side.
And that's fine. It's fine, because nobody's working from a place of total originality.
Nothing.
That's the thing that prevents a lot of artists from starting to make art, is they want to be completely original out the gate.
Yeah.
And that's not what you do. What you usually do is you start out imitating somebody else, and then you eventually get your own voice. You look at early Stephen King, you look at early Ramsey Campbell, you look at early Clive Barker. It's like all H.P. Lovecraft shit.
Yeah.
Right?
I think King's dad was a pulp writer. He was like a journeyman writer, where he would just write anything, and that influenced King to do a lot. I think King's a medium too. On top of that, I heard a story that have you ever heard that story about him seeing that ghost as a child on the railroad tracks?
Well, there was a story about him on like walking on the railroad tracks and not having any memory of the experience, but his friend got hit by a train, and they were picking up his pieces and putting them into a wicker basket. But I didn't hear about a ghost.
Yeah, like I heard that, and I also heard that he was talking to him, and they're like, no, he's been dead for like a long time.
Oh my God.
I forgot what show it was. I was on a podcast or a YouTube show I was watching, but I was just like, damn, he's probably a medium, and then
maybe
his dad left him, I guess, at a young age, and that kind of he was writing all that kind of like Lovecraft and Howard, where they would write all the that to me Howard was kind of like a journeyman writer too, where they would just write whatever but good, and
whatever you could sell.
His dad was and
I've got a collection of boxing stories by him.
Yeah, and that was his thing, man. He was a cosplayer too, and a D&D for his time, see him with the homies, like they're like boxing each other and cosplaying and shit.
Yes, pirates, yeah. Yep, when you see old photographs of him, yeah, without a doubt. And of course, I'm a huge Lovecraft and Howard stan. Their work is just because I'm a pulp guy to the core, and to me, they're like the kings of the pulps.
I just ordered all the Solomon Kane stories for like $12.
Oh yeah,
the Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. I'm waiting from it. I got it from Amazon. It was $12, dude. So I can't wait to dig in there and read all that shit.
Oh, you're gonna love that.
I'm so excited for it.
You're gonna love that. It frustrates the hell out of me that he didn't do more, because Solomon Kane. God damn, I'm really just off on a tear tonight. Solomon Kane is easily my favorite character.
No shit.
Yeah, out of any genre.
So did you like the movie or what?
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I like that fucking movie, bro. I'm sorry.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
It's not Robert E. Howard. It puts in a little too much Conan.
And a lot of origin too, where he doesn't have one, from my understanding.
Well, no, I mean he had an origin, but it was just like, I mean, he was just this guy who fought in the war and then came back and is just like, basically in the movie they turn him into almost like a pirate.
He's a privateer in the fucking movie for the Queen,
right?
Which is the same thing,
right? Yeah, pretty much. But they have him acting like a pirate rather than like a proper soldier.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's a dirty, evil motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's looking for redemption. That's what drives him in the movie. And the arch villain is basically Tough-the-Mon out of like Conan. Right? Because they're just like, oh well, it's Robert E. Howard, Conan. We got to put like some, sort of like more Conan-y elements in there. But what can I say? I love that movie to pieces. I think it's wonderful, and it's a tragedy that it didn't get a theatrical release here. But I think the reason it didn't get a theatrical release here is because we were in the midst of militant atheism being like the flavor, right? Like that was the thing. Like everybody was into it, right?
Yeah.
And a movie with a hero that's a Puritan, I think would not have gone over very well. And right, because this was like this was like just like major hostility towards any kind of religion, not even just organized religion. It's just like, oh my God, some of my friends bought into that shit. And I'm just like, I told you that shit was a fad.
It's got to be true to yourself, man. You know what I mean?
You got to be true to yourself.
Look, get some ideas and stuff and then develop your own, beliefs.
But explore. Be true. Yeah. Right. And, in my experience, atheists were always like really cool people.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, like y'all turned into a bunch of judgmental motherfuckers. What happens?
As long as you ain't sacrificing or eating nobody or fucking killing nobody, do your shit. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean?
Yes. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're
right.
You're freaking fine, right? It's all about how you treat other people. But I tell people that I was religious, and they'd be like, oh, you're the enemy, right? Or they right, or they treat, all right, or they'd be like, oh, you're so dopey, right? And then I get into a discussion with them and be like, yeah, I don't think you could beat me in a game of chess. Sorry. I don't think you could throw down. But yeah, getting off topic again. What was there? Did The Killer and Blood and Black Lace influence
The Question? No, The Question was around a long time ago. That was was that Steve Ditko?
That was Ditko.
And then Rorschach.
And well, also no wait.
Ooh, look at that. Is that the movie cover?
Well, yeah. One of the things I wanted to take a look at here are some of the posters.
Oh wow, that's fucking gothic.
Isn't that great?
Oh, I love the fucking. Oh yeah, I love the obviously the blacks.
Right. I think this might be Francesco Francavilla, possibly. He does really great horror related stuff. If you don't follow him on Twitter, start doing so, like Stat, because he always has really cool stuff. We've discussed before about how back in the day, movie posters were actually beautiful, painted works of art. And now, of course, they're just like hastily photoshopped in some cubicle by some guy, and they just get them out there. This is the cover right here of the Arrow Blu-ray release.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. They always provide new art. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got the infamous weapon.
Yes,
that one you remember, right?
Yeah, that gauntlet, which is a pretty nasty, fearsome weapon that's taken from a suit of armor. Whether or not that's an authentic weapon, I can't tell you. All I could tell you is I never ever saw and I'm a guy that's into like historic European martial arts and arms and armor and all that shit. I've never seen anything like that. But it doesn't matter. We're in Mario Bava land. We're in a horror movie. That's all good. And I'm not saying that something like that didn't exist. I'm just saying that I've never seen one. Oh, look, check this one out. This is as subtle as a sledgehammer right here.
I'm sure something like that exists somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's always
they're always possible. Finding new weapons and shit. You know what I mean? Like
all the time. Some of the stupid shit they came up with, like axes that were also swords, that were also guns, that were also crossbows.
I love that shit. That's the shit I'm talking about. I love that shit.
Yeah, but the thing is like there's this really great series that's on Netflix called Blood and Beer. It's like the history of Oktoberfest, and nice. It's basically a gangster story.
Oh, okay,
right.
That sounds
and cool. A lot of bad. Oh yeah, there it is, right there. One of the weapons that like one of the main characters uses is a combination brass knuckles, revolver, and knife.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I've actually seen that. Yeah, I've seen that before.
The problem with those kinds of weapons is they're kind of like, you ever play, like nowadays they're much better, but back in the day they'd have video games where you could do like a bunch of different shit. It wasn't just the same thing over and over, right? Like Grand Theft Auto, right? It was a driving game, it was a shooting game, all this other stuff.
Free roam and shit.
Yeah. But it couldn't really do any of those things very well.
Yeah.
And at least in the beginning, and that was the problem with these weapons. It was like shitty brass knuckles, shitty revolver, even shittier knife. Right? So that's what. And same thing with like the sword / crossbow / blunderbuss / whatever. Right? Like it couldn't do any of those things particularly well. That's why they're so rare, because they never
they weren't very functional. They were
not at all.
They were cool parlor tricks and stories and good talking points probably, and I'm sure they used them a lot of the times in these different wars throughout time. But a lot of those fucking things, I forgot what Vlad the Impaler had a pretty crazy weapon too. I forgot his sword was pretty crazy. It was a Killage, I think that was the name of it. But he had one like it was a spear and an axe combined. That showed Deadliest Warrior. They had him on there and they were showing that. It was
Deadliest Warrior.
It's a great
show that I loved and hated. I hated it because of that bullshit program from Slytherin Studios.
Oh, Slytherin Studios. Yeah, that was stupid.
And then and it was always a question of like they had like knight versus pirate, and it was very obvious from all the tests, knight.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because the fucking the flintlocks, first of all, like misfired the first 3 times. Yeah. Then like they finally got a shot off, boom, bounced right off the fucking chest piece.
Yeah.
The Curious. And but then they're like, no, pirates win because Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's like, what the fuck? Like the stupid stipulation. And like the knights, dude, they're carrying around all that weight, you know what I mean? And it's like that sword. It
wasn't that heavy. It was evenly distributed. You could fucking book. Yeah. I've seen people at like like I said, like in HEMA, get in those suits and then go, oh yeah, you can't move, can you? Brr, brr, and they start rolling around, and you can see like videos like that on YouTube. No, they weren't like.
No, but they were strong, I think, regardless, because of wearing all the mail and
oh yeah,
plates, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, body, samurai armor was heavy too, but when people put it on, and I've never worn a full suit of armor, but people tell me it's like yeah, it's heavy, but it's evenly distributed.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're like lugging something something on your back. They wouldn't have worn that shit if they couldn't fucking whip ass in it, right?
Yeah.
But obviously had its disadvantages. But yeah, I love this poster right here.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's got like that like retro kind of spheres in the background, and
like this is
a newer one, right? You said this one too.
Yeah. This is like for like some German film club. So this is probably like from like some university, some student did this.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And let me see if I can open the one that is subtle as a sledgehammer. It's gonna let me do that. No, God damn it, it's not a JPEG. It's a web something or another.
There was one scene in the movie too where, like, towards the end. I mean, we're doing a little. We haven't spoiled the movie at all, really, huh?
We haven't even gotten into the plot yet. Okay. And we will get into the plot. It's simple, but yeah. Go ahead. You were saying, Matt?
I was saying that there was just this funny scene in the movie where when one of the models was coming back to her home in the country, and she's just all fucking paranoid that she's gonna get busted, that she takes the corpse and drags it under her stairs. You know what I mean? And,
oh yeah.
You never know what's going to happen. It was such a good mystery, you know. I mean, the charm, the type of movie it is. You know what I mean?
Yes, because this is also a movie that is. It may not be the first body count picture, but this is the first movie where the killer is arranging the bodies. Right? Remember the end of Halloween when Jamie Lee Curtis goes screaming through the house and the bodies are dropping in front of her and everything. And this is the first movie that does that. And it works into the plot because it's like, all right, basic plot. There's this chick. She gets murdered. Turns out that she has she left behind a diary. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody's suddenly looking like very, very shifty and shady. Let me see if I can get a shot of some of the cast when they're just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, there they are. There's some of them anyway. Right? They're like, oh, crap.
There's Orson Welles right there on the right.
Oh, that is that is a guy. I don't know why. It's like I have this like block in my brain. I can remember the name of virtually every Italian character actor, but I always forget his name. Let me look it up really quick because he was we're talking about like he was a Mario Bava regular. You saw him well up into like the 80s. Let's see. Where is this? Luciano Pigozzi. Luciano Pigozzi as Cesare Lazzarini.
Hey, Frankie knows
a designer.
We got Frankie Tartamello.
Frankie in the house. Frankie in his house. What up?
Yeah.
And everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And if you've seen this movie or if you have questions about it, hop in the chat. And because the whole idea of this show is we all agree to watch a horror movie and then we get together and bullshit about it.
Yep.
And but what was I saying?
He was a character actor. He was in
he was a character actor, Luciano Pigozzi. He was in, let me see. Oh my God. Look him up on the IMDb and you will be like, damn. Yeah, he worked from 1955 all the way up through 1989.
Damn.
He's in Zombie 3. He's in Strike Commando. He's in Cobra Mission. Commando Leopard. He worked a lot with Antonio Margheriti. He's like in every Antonio Margheriti movie virtually. Margheriti being a journeyman director. Yor. He's in Yor, the Hunter from the Future, which I have a big ol' poster of on my wall over there. I gotta get this thing straight. You can't even see it from here. It's too far away. But
Frankie Knows says I checked out the film. I like the use of lighting and shadows. Very noir-like.
Oh my God. Once again, the use of color in this.
Yeah.
It's having seen Suspiria and then having seen this, it tells you a lot about that evolution, right?
Yeah, it's a little more subtle in here. But it's still there.
But still very garish.
very much so. And the lighting too, it was I was looking at some of the backlighting that they had. They did a very good job of like hiding the rigs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or they put like a light pole right in front of it to where it just looks kind of organic but artistic at the same time.
When I met Barbara Steele, I asked her, like, what was Mario Bava like? And she was like, I don't know. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? And she was like he wasn't an actor's director. He he would hire you because he knew you could do the job, and then let you fuck off and do the job.
No shit.
Yeah. And so he wasn't controlling that way. He was always somewhere around the set. He was always moving. He was always messing around with stuff, moving things around. I think that's, yeah, literally. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love his movies so much, is there is this handcrafted quality that comes across in all of his films. And in this, you don't get a lot of special effects. When you get to movies like Planet of the Vampires, Hercules in the Haunted World,
damn,
that's where you start
to like. Both those, I want to watch them both.
Oh, they're amazing. Dude, you were. Oh God, if you're just starting, you're just dipping your toe into the well of Italian horror from the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and there is so much great special stuff, especially Bava. Probably my favorite director. Martin Scorsese's favorite director, right? Which is one reason I love Scorsese, is because he's so not a snob, right?
Yeah, he knows a lot too. Like he's very detailed when it comes to every little thing that's in his movie, right down to the dirt that's on the toe of the actor. From what I've seen in interviews. Right.
And he was asked once, like, what do you do to prepare for a film? And he was like, I'll usually screen some movies, watch some movies, usually Italian movies, usually some Mario Bava. I was just like, yeah.
Oh yeah, metal.
Yeah. And also he wrote the introduction to Tim Lucas's biography, his exhaustive biography on Mario Bava, which I don't own, because fuck you, Tim. You put those out for like $100 a piece and limited run. Basically, he did the scarcity model.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So, it's just like, love you audio commentaries, love all your stuff, but F you for that.
Yeah,
Argo. Hopefully, one of these days we shall get a reprinting. We shall see. So anyway, the bitch gets killed, and her diary is discovered, and it seems everybody wants to get their hands on it because, well, there's some dirt on them in there. You don't know what it is, but everybody's like exchanging these like very sweaty looks. And soon the bodies start to drop, thanks to the efforts of our killer. And great, that's another WebP. Let me see if I can turn that into a JPEG. It'll let me do that.
Yeah, and it's also very somewhat similar. Like you have the a group of like females that are like in a you got the fashion environment, and then the other one you have in the last movie we watched, the ballerina academy.
Right. Like when the film opens, it opens with a shot of this sign.
Yeah.
The chain breaking and it's falling. There's a storm outside. Very, very reminiscent of the later Suspiria. And mind you, when I point out these influences and that sort of a thing, I'm not taking anything away from Dario Argento. I'm not taking anything away from any filmmaker. It's an evolution. Yeah. And one person builds on what the other person's doing, and it just keeps building, and the ball keeps rolling, and it gets sometimes bounced from country to country, right? Like the way that the Italian Westerns were based on American westerns, and then they were inspired by the by the Japanese samurai movies, and then the Japanese samurai movies were inspired by the Italian westerns, and that's what world cinema is all about, and why people that just watch nothing but American films are just
missing out,
assholes and cowards. No. No, they're missing out. They're missing out. You're denying yourself some really, really, really special stuff, I think.
Oh, for sure, man. Different experience altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, not just a different world, different worlds of cinema. This is a nice example of how a lot of these shots are framed. There's that red doll.
That doll, dude, I thought it was going to come to life like through the whole movie. You know what I mean?
That's one of those.
It never does.
Exactly.
Like, is that the killer? Is it going to come to life? You know, and like he probably put that there for that reason. You know?
Exactly.
What if?
Yes. Bava, it's worth mentioning, as nasty as this movie is, because the murders are brutal, was very playful. And there's a sense of playfulness throughout his movies. And when I first saw a photograph of him, I suddenly understood his movies a little bit better, because he was making a face, right? Or like something, like he would usually make some kind of a sinister face, right?
Yeah.
But like a goofy, right? And then I started looking through other pictures of him, and you could not find a photograph. You could not find a picture of Mario Bava where he wasn't mugging for the camera.
Yeah, he's just having some fun, goofing off, having a great time.
Yeah. I think there's only 2 pictures I've ever seen of Bava where he's not smiling. There's one where he's kind of like, it's a publicity shot, I think, and he's like looking up into the light, and he's standing by next to a camera, and a shot that was taken of him on the set of Rabid Dogs, which was his last movie, when he was just like very, very old, and he died during filmmaking. I think the movie was finished, but I think there was a pre-title sequence that he wanted to do that he didn't get a chance to do, and he just had and he's smiling in the picture, but he's just like, oh fuck, I'm tired. Like, oh, this shit just isn't as easy as it used to be.
World building.
Yeah, Rabid Dogs is a crime movie. It's like it's a movie that it's the movie that Quentin Tarantino wishes he could make. Let me I'm surprised he hasn't fucking copied that one yet. Give him time. But yeah, that red doll, for instance, you see it a lot in this movie, and so you're thinking like, when's that thing gonna move?
Right.
Or what? Right. And
they keep moving it around like it's.
It's always there.
Is it moving it around? Or
yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that is a classic case of misdirection.
I also like the intro title sequence when they're all just standing there like mannequins, and they're like, I thought that was an interesting way to do it. I can't remember ever seeing a movie like that at all, where they have the characters boom, 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 just lined up. I'm like, oh, that was pretty creative.
Extremely. And it reminds you that you're watching a movie. And it takes a little bit of the nastiness out.
Yeah, and it also informs you that you're dealing with the world of fashion. You know what I mean? That they're mannequins. And setting that up
too, right?
Yeah,
because you're talking about the world of haute couture, right? High fashion.
Yeah.
Surprise! Everybody is superficial as fuck.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Absolutely.
It's a completely superficial world.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was kind of sad, because I do consider clothes making, fashion, whatever, to be an art form. It is.
Yeah, the garment industry.
The garment, right? Well, I mean, it's like you go to a museum and you'll see dresses from certain periods.
Yeah.
Right? Clothes are art. The same way that architecture is art.
Exactly.
Right?
And like when you're, say, if you're making a story or something, that's a big part of it. You know what I mean? Depending on the world, that's a big part of it. You know, so.
I remember watching the credits for, I forget what movie it was, but it was animated, and I remember seeing it in the theater. So it was either Heavy Metal or Fire and Ice, and a credit came up saying costume designer, and there was like a chitter of laughter from the audience. Like, there are no costumes in this; it's all animated. They don't understand that somebody's still coming up with this stuff. And one of the things I am an absolute stand for is whenever they come out with books that are like making of books, and you see like the concept illustrations.
Oh yeah, the concept artists or arts.
I just love that. And sometimes they're very different, and you're thinking, oh, well, that's an interesting design, but they didn't go for that. They went for this. Yeah. Right. I just adore that sort of thing. Oh, Frankie in the chat, dude, if you want to hop in, I'll shoot you a freaking link. Actually, you know what? I'll post it in the chat too. The Italian title translation of this film, "Se donne per l'assassino," is 6 women for the killer. Yes. Ooh. Yeah, I speak very little Italian. Frankie's taken me to task for the Italian that I've used in Six Gun Gorilla, let me tell you, and giving me some corrections, which are going to definitely, if not in the next trade paperback, are going to be in the omnibus edition. But yeah, even I figured that one out because like what little Italian I know from watching these movies. Sweet. And and the Fellini pictures, of course, because the Italians made the best trash movies. They made the best art films. They made the best westerns. They made the best splatter movies. They made the best trash too,
and the best food.
And the best food. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing that, if you're going to put me on a desert island, I think I mentioned this last week. If you put me on a desert island and be like, motherfucker, you're only be able to watch movies from one country for the rest of your life, I'd be like, Italy. You don't want to even think that over? Nope. Because even their trash was good. Oh, man. But yeah, here's another shot.
There's a doll on the floor.
Yes.
It's like,
And this is also a case where you are kept in the dark about these characters' motives, and eventually you find out who the killer is. I'm not going to give it away. Although there is this one shot where I do think it's kind of obvious. You can tell me if you agree or disagree. Where the fuck is that? It's probably one of those. Oh, here it is. Yay, it's a JPEG. I can show this.
Well, that's that part when he's smacking the shit out of that lady, where he's doing the combo smacks, different like angles and shit.
Yeah. Oh my god. Right? He's like
he's doing smack foo on that bitch.
Right? It's the ferocity of the murders.
Yeah, like fast as fuck. Look at him like just creeping around. He looks so creepy right there. It's a good still.
It's a great still, but if you look closely, it kind of gives away the identity of the killer. But the part of the giallo, let me see if I got my do I have my fencing gloves down here? Yeah, like I'm asking you folks, like you would know. But part of the point of the black glove killer, that's a staple in the giallo, is the killer is almost always wearing black gloves. And the reason for that is so that you don't know whether the killer's a man or a woman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Excuse me. I promise I'm going to take a Sudafed before the next one. I got like a deviated symptom. But this established that, the black raincoat, the black gloves, all that stuff you would later see in like 100 of these movies. So the diary's out there. There are people willing to kill for it. Somebody is killing for it. It gets burned, and the killer catches the chick who burnt it, and he burns her up.
Oh yeah,
that is a brutal scene. I don't have a still of that handy, but he
the hand, yeah,
pushes her face towards a glowing hot stove.
Yeah.
And she places her hand against it, and right? This is stuff that is. What up, J Dollar Dog?
Oh, what's up, J Dollar? Oh, thanks, bro.
Oh, you're just adorable. Just adorable, man. But yeah, there's you know, like some really like rough stuff. And then he pushes her face into it, and you hear the searing. They hadn't really gotten crazy with the gore yet.
Yeah, but just the hand, when they did the hand, when he put her hand on there first, I think, right?
Yeah.
And that, like,
well, because he's pushing her head, and so she's. Yeah. Or was he put it?
He put her hand on there first, like.
That, yeah, you're right.
And then he like, she said something happened where
I burned it.
Something happened. Oh yeah, I burned it, or something happened, like to piss him off, and he was like, you know what?
Fuck you, bitch.
I was like,
right,
yeah, owie.
Yeah, brutal. You know, I remember as a kid seeing this and the other Mario Bava movies, and you'd never seen violence this brutal, at least when I was a kid, right? And this is like before I saw Taxi Driver.
Oh, yeah.
Right, which took shit like to another level. But you know, these are movies that were shown on television, often at late night. Sometimes they were heavily edited. Sometimes they weren't. Depending, and you wouldn't get the same movie all the time. That's to say that different TV stations had different cuts, different edits of different movies. So you could watch the Omega Man on Channel 7, and you'd see one version of the movie, and then you'd watch it on Channel 11, and it would be you know, there'd be a scene that you'd never seen before.
The Channel 11 cut. I know what you're talking about. It was like that for me. Like when I was a kid, we taped all the movies like RoboCop, and I said this on another show, and you know, that was what I only knew of these movies growing up as a kid, because there wasn't, you know, we didn't have cable when I was a kid growing up.
Right.
So we taped everything on TV, and I kept those. We kept the tapes and watched them. You know. So when I got to see the unrated cut of, you know, Conan and RoboCop, I was just like, oh, it's a brand new movie. I fucking love this shit. You know what I mean? And absolutely. I loved the edited versions too as a kid. But
of course,
doing that, it was just like, now you just roided up my favorite movies now.
Yes.
So
that's you know, that's how I always feel about. That's how I felt when movies first started coming out on DVD. That's how I felt about how I still feel when we ever get like beautiful Blu-ray rips of these movies.
Yeah.
You know, I understand some people, they want their muddy old VHS. Well, you can still have that. For me, like for instance, the Night of the Living Dead 4K cut, it's just like eye-popping, and I understand why some people like the muddy old version, right? Because it's scary, because it is scarier, it is creepier, it makes you feel like you're watching a snuff movie or something.
Yeah,
right.
And like the newer stuff too, like when I first started getting like a high def TV, like I'm like, dude, it looks like I'm in, like I'm there inside the room, like. And then after about 6 months or so, my eyes, it's so sharp, but now my eyes are so used to it to the point to where it's like I don't even notice it anymore, but everything looks so good. You know what I mean? And now I don't want to go back. But I understand the quality and the idea of wanting to go back and watch things on, you know, VHS or whatnot. But
of course,
I watched this on my laptop last night on YouTube, and I didn't. Frankie says that they got the English and Italian dubs on YouTube of this film. I didn't see the dubs. I just had the captions, which was cool.
Yeah, I have the Arrow Blu-ray that came out a couple months ago. But from now on, I'm not just gonna, like, this is on Tubi, so I posted like the Tubi link, but there's also you know, but like I said, you can also find these movies frequently on YouTube, and there will be like a 1080p Blu-ray rip.
Yeah.
So definitely keep those in mind. Keep those in mind, folks. Here, hold on a second. Let me just.
I think they did a good job in here, though, of like keeping the mystery of who the killer was. You know, I thought it was pretty decent.
It did keep you guessing, and that's of course because of it has an Agatha Christie structure. The problem I always had with Agatha Christie whodunits and that style of whodunit, Murder, She Wrote was a perfect example of it. Was, you know, somebody gets brutally murdered and everybody's like, ooh, a murder. Goodness gracious, oh, there's been a murder. And it's just like, what kind of reaction is that when you see somebody that's been murdered? Aren't you going to be freaking out?
Yeah, you're not going to be like, ew, gross. You're going to be like,
but they're meant to be lighter toned and everything, and I get that. That's just not my thing.
Yeah.
The violence in this movie is brutal. The violence in these movies is generally very brutal. Shouldn't violence be portrayed as horrific and brutal?
Yeah, I think so.
It was like the A-Team, right? Where like they're firing off like hundreds of thousands, like billions of rounds, right? They're up to their fucking ankles in like spent brass. Bullet shells, right?
Yeah.
Nobody even gets a splinter.
Right.
G.I. Joe, busting shots everywhere, right? Nobody even gets a scratch. What kind of and they're like, well, that's because it's for kids. Well, what kind of a message is that to give kids?
Right.
Right? It's I would want my kids to see murder as like as brutal and awful. Not that I would, I mean, I'm an age appropriate guy. I believe, like, it's like you start your kids out on, the Universal horror. You work them up to the Hammer,
and it kind of depends on like how I don't want to use the right word, but how mature they are for their age. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they're immature, they could probably. This is just me personally. They could probably you could probably wait a while to show them if they're immature. But if they're mature and they're grasping onto stuff, you probably you could show them some stuff. But like for me, I'd probably start with the horror Universal movies, monster movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have kids, but if I did, I'd be like, it would be like sex education. You don't have to go right into like Blumkins. You don't have to go right into like, you don't just drop them right into like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
Or even Night of the Living Dead or something like that. That's
yeah, because once innocence is gone, it's fucking gone, and they're never gonna get it back. And it's like, how long do you want to keep that, and how long do you want Santa to exist? How long do you want the Tooth Fairy to exist? And then you got the kid at school. Tooth Fairy, you fucking idiot. And then,
Yeah,
so
yes. And there are kids that would look at this and just laugh.
Yeah, and then you got to sit them down like, listen, this is a different time. And then you got to explain it, and then you're like, go watch it again. or even adults,
Oh my God! Right, it's they're like, raising their kids, so like they've grown up with nothing but like fucking CGI, and then they look at something like Nosferatu or the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and they're just, how are they going to even process that?
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, like I'll bring it up a million times for different reasons, but like you throw Bram Stoker's Dracula in there, you know what I mean? What the fuck is this? I mean, and if you do a quick little like tell somebody about the movie that hasn't seen it before, this is what the movie is. It's like they're shooting it with the old school camera tricks and whatnot from the turn of the century.
Yep.
And it's an art film.
Yes.
That has love in it as well. So,
yes. Okay. Yeah. That's a perfect way of describing Bram Stoker's Dracula. My only problem with Bram Stoker's Dracula was that it was called Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Maybe Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula would have been a more appropriate title.
It would have. And you know what?
Sounded cool too.
The guy hadn't made a decent movie for ages. George Lucas and John Milius and Steven Spielberg, all of like his fellow like
his buddies.
UCLA film grads referred to him as the sleeping giant, right? And somebody came out with that, and I was like, oh, hello, welcome back. And then he disappeared again.
Yeah, that was it, dude. I mean, he produced the Jeepers Creepers, and then I think maybe Jack. I think with Robin Williams, and that was it. Like, you didn't really see him after that.
Yeah, I think he's made a couple of pictures, but he's like one of those directors where it's not like I'm going to watch everything he makes.
Yeah, right.
Know? It's not like there's very few directors that we have these days. Frankie Knows says, as a kid, I handled Hammer horror films, but I walked into The Exorcist and that messed me up.
Me too. And I walked into the fucking TV version. You know what I mean? And I just seen her forever. But also, Pennywise, dude. For some reason, that shit scared me as a
generation.
Kid. You know what I mean? And I'd always see him. You know what I mean? Because I had I think I have a pretty active imagination where I could just picture shit. You know?
Oh, and, yeah.
I would see it. It's like, oh, fuck that. I ain't going down the
Especially
stairs.
as a kid, though.
Yeah.
Like it's great if you can retain that and that sense of disbelief into adulthood, which is a shame because a lot of people don't, or a lot of people maybe never have it. Like Stephen King said, disbelief isn't light; it's heavy. It requires an effort to suspend it. But when you're a kid, it just comes. That's just what comes natural because you don't understand the rules of the world yet.
Right.
And I mean, Santa Claus exists. Why can't there be werewolves?
Right.
And mummies and monsters in the closet and that sort of a thing.
And it's weird though, because like you were saying, you understand how the world works, but then you start to again learn more and more, and then it kind of flips back to where, oh well, maybe that is probable, and this is scientifically, unfortunately, there is some levity to these things that could possibly exist, or so like me personally, I think almost anything could be out there. You know what I mean? Almost. I don't like. I think that there could be a Bigfoot. I think there could be a Loch Ness monster. A lot, there's a lot of stuff. I keep an open mind. I don't just say, no, fuck that. No. Like, we're finding stuff all the time.
We're finding stuff all the time. The only thing I could say that I really actively believe in is ghosts.
Oh, yeah,
because
for sure.
I've never seen one, but I just know too many people who have.
Yeah.
And it's like this big secret that this huge community. I wish everybody that's seen a ghost would be like, yo, like tomorrow, and you like if everybody that saw a ghost tomorrow were to turn purple, you'd see a lot of purple people.
Oh, for sure, man. Absolutely.
Too many people, and the funny thing is once people know that you're just open to the concept, right? Because I've still never seen one, so I can't say like 100% believe, right? But I just too many people, and people that I trust, people that have no motive to bullshit, and whenever they tell you their story, it's always matter of factly. It's always like, yeah. It's not like, dude, they exist. I'm telling you. It's like, yeah. We had one in our attic when we moved in. Yeah, like people would like pull into this would pull into our driveway and be like, "Oh, I saw you up in the attic." I'm like, that wasn't me.
No, that was the fucking lady that died up there, fucking hung herself, and then a lot of time you find out that something fucked up happened, and you're like, oh well, then there you go. There's like the leftover or whatever,
Well, I mean,
different concepts of what it could be, energies and whatnot,
Right. Like I think I mentioned the stone tape theory, right? That places can kind of maybe sort of like record events that involve powerful emotions or something, or maybe they're just the spirits of the dead, or maybe there's like both.
And then there's like, what if it's a straight up evil demon force that's been in this earth for thousands of before time?
Yeah,
that's a probable idea. I'm not going to say no.
That's the other supernatural entity that I lean towards believing is demons. Yeah. Because people are like, oh well, you can't see them. How do you like? I only see what I believe. Like, oh really? So you don't believe in radio waves? You don't believe in magnetic fields? I'm not saying that it's necessarily that it's like fallen angels flying around fucking with us.
Right.
But once again,
I keep an open mind.
I do too.
And I'm not going to say, no, fuck that. It's just too much. There's just too much shit out there. There's too much. And I keep an open mind.
Yes,
I think it's better to do that, but also like keep a level head and be on the ground, but also keep an open mind.
Healthy skepticism, as opposed to the hardcore skeptics where it doesn't matter what you put in front of them. That's one of the things I love about The Exorcist. Is the part of the film where they're running all these tests on Regan and are taking her to all these doctors, and it's obvious what's going on,
right?
But nobody's going to say it because they're doctors, they're people of science, but they're also like, well, there's nothing we could do for her, but here, we're just gonna slip you this.
Yeah.
This
there
fella.
You go.
There you go.
Go buy him a whiskey or a beer.
Right.
Give him a cigarette, and he'll take care of that for you.
Oh well, my God, The Exorcist is just an incredible movie. It's also one of the great religious films ever made. I think that's a thing too about horror as a genre. It replaced religious art. If you want to watch a movie that's about damnation and salvation, heaven and hell, the devil and God, odds are it's gonna be a horror movie.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when that Exorcist, even as a kid, because I was born in '83. I remember like my parents were going to a lot of different churches and like Fire and Brimstone and stuff. There's tons of churches in my town, and right. That was the whole thing, was watch that movie. Watch the Exorcist.
Because a lot of I know there were like a lot of religious organizations that were very pissed off about it, and that always cracked me up because I'm just like, this is like, do you realize that William Peter Blatty is a practicing Catholic, and he believes in this stuff. Yeah.
No, like there were a lot of the because there's so many different sub churches in the world, but even around here.
Oh my God,
And a lot of them were like, go watch that movie. Like, you know what I mean? Because it kind of paints a picture of things that have happened,
Well, I also think the reason why right now there is such a glut of movies about demonic possession.
Yeah,
is
definitely.
Because that's a monster that's still scary because it's a monster that might exist.
Yeah, and it's always going to be around. Exist. It's like plumbing. You know what I mean? If you want to be a plumber or mechanic, you're always going to have work. Yeah. And then there's always going to be demons. And they've been here before us, and they're going to be here after us.
Right. Or
in my humble opinion.
Yes. No, me too. There's a excellent movie on Tubi I recommend to folks. It's called Final Prayer.
Oh, it sounds pretty scary.
I really enjoyed it. It's a new movie. And it's sort of found footage, but don't hold that against it. And it explains the evil place, right? Like in something like The Haunting of Hill House, it's not a ghost. It's something that was there long before that house was built. And it influenced the building of the house, which is why Hill House, when you walk into it, all the angles are slightly off, and there's like, staircases leading to nowhere. Yeah. And the halls just kind of get narrower, right? Being in Hill House, it's like tripping on low wattage acid. That's how Stephen King described it, right? And he would know. Right, but it's an evil place.
Yeah.
And Final Prayer, that gives you sort of like the answer of what that is. What is the evil place?
Oh, okay.
It's at the very least, I think it's worth a look. Frankie says, years later, I found out The Exorcist is based on a true event about a boy in the 1940s. Yeah, it's inspired by that. And was turned into the novel was written by William Peter Blatty, who also wrote the screenplay for the Exorcist movie. And in the novel, they left out all of the profanity, all of the obscenities, right? It was just like, all this horrible stuff. Like, I can't repeat what it was saying. But it's a movie, you have to hear it. And they went William Friedkin went to Blatty and he was like, yo, dude, I need some obscenities here. And it was like, okay, like how bad? And Friedkin just leaned in and said, the worst.
Oh man. Yeah, I heard some stories about him just trying to make the movie, like smacking the priest around and doing a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like going all out, like maybe too far out.
Well, I mean, look, you can't.
Damn.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like, God, if I, I've done a little filmmaking myself, and I would never treat actors or anybody that way. You know what I mean? I hear of like, it's okay to discombobulate them. Not abuse them. Like
like homeboy right here smacking him around and shit.
Exactly. Or David Cronenberg, the actress that was in David Cronenberg's Shivers couldn't cry on command, and she needed to do a lot of crying, so she was like, slap me. Right? And Oof. So he did, right? And Barbara Steele is there. They go off into the bathroom. She hears crack, crack, crack. She comes out crying. Barbara Steele like grabs, God bless her, grabs David Cronenberg. Is like, how dare you? I've never seen a director treat an actor like that, right? And he's just like, no, but she asked me to. She did? Yeah, she asked me to. Like she begged me to. And then Barbara Steele
that would be like a funny scene, dude, like in like SNL or something, you know?
Right. Yeah, and then Barbara Steele's like, would you be willing to do that to me? And he's like, stop, no. Forget about it.
So I got a 3:00. Yeah, we could squeeze it in.
Oh God! Well, because it's terrible, right? Because if somebody asked me to do that to an actor that was working for me, I'd be thinking, can I outsource this?
Yeah, right? It's like you're like crying doing it, you know, like back, you know what I mean?
But then it's just like, if I outsource, isn't that worse than if I actually slap her myself? Right?
Oh,
and it's like,
plus it'll save you some time, you know.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, no. I could. I'd be like, get some Vicks Vapo Rub, honey.
Right? Get an onion in there. You need an onion.
I'll rub an onion in your eyes.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe they should have done an onion. Maybe Cronenberg. He should have been the Onionberg, you know.
Oh my God! Oh hell! Oh, all right. Well, let's see. We're on an hour 20. I don't see anybody waiting in the chat or anything. Any final thoughts about Blood and Black Lace, your first Mario Bava movie?
I thought it was a great movie. Definitely high recommend. I saw the subtitled version. Great, directed film. The lighting was sweet. The acting was awesome. A lot of twists and turns. I didn't go in it expecting anything whatsoever, but got a great film. So I, again, highly recommend it.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked it. I wasn't sure if you were going to like this one or not.
Yeah.
And oh God, I just love this brunette, man. Cloud, her name was Cloud something or another. And let me see if I can find another picture of her. Oh snap, there she goes.
Spoiler water, huh?
Spoiler alert. Yeah. God. Yeah. I just.
We didn't spoil the movie. That's good.
No, we didn't.
Sometimes we like to spoil these bitches. But
yeah, we do. This
time we did.
Like, shit's been out since like 1965, motherfucker. But the thing is.
I don't mind spoiling it, but I don't mind keeping it
unspoiled
either.
And
either way.
Exactly. And also, we want to encourage people to come and check these movies out. There's right now lots of modern contemporary horror movies coming out, and there's some good stuff. Make no mistake, but go and check out the old stuff too, because a lot of this stuff is really special and takes you places where you've never been before. And Mario Bava Land is like Disney World for me personally. Lucio Fulci Land, I don't know if I want to hang out there quite as much, but and question: what are we watching for next week? Any suggestions? Peanut Gallery. Anybody in the chat? You got any ideas or requests? I mean, not to put you on the spot. Let me see what I have in my Tubi list, because like I said, folks, what I like to do is pick a movie that y'all can watch that's not behind a freaking paywall. So if you watch the movie before the show and you want to chime in and let us know what you think about it during every episode, that's awesome. But also, if you don't watch it, you watch the stream and you hear us talking about the film and you're thinking, damn, I want to check that out, you're going to be able to check it out. You're not going to have to pay $5 on Amazon Prime for that. Oh, I want to do Django, but that's technically not a horror movie. It's just shot like one. Oh, and if you want to see where the ear scene from
have you seen that movie Near Dark?
I'm sorry, what'd you say? Uh-oh. We're having technical difficulties? Oh, Matt roboted.
I was say, have you seen that movie Near Dark? I think that's.
Have I seen that movie Near Dark?
Oh, I did. My bad.
Have I seen that movie Near Dark? Let me see. No, I'm gonna be digging for like half an hour. I never, man. I never organize my shit. I never organize my DVDs and Blu-rays and CDs and books and everything because I've done it a few times, and each time I do it, within like a month, everything's all mixed up again. But yeah, check it out. Nice.
I always wanted to watch that, so maybe
set.
One of these times we can do that movie.
Oh,
I know Bill Paxton's in there, so I want to check.
Fasten your fucking seatbelt. It's finger licking good. Yes, there's the good Bill Paxtonism.
You want to do that one? You want to do that one next week?
We can if it's not behind a paywall.
You want to do that one?
Is it on Tubi? Let me or on let me see.
I'm not sure. I haven't
or on the YouTube. No, it doesn't look like it's on Tubi. Let's see if it's on the YouTube. And then there are always a couple of other options too. There's Pluto TV. I mean, it's amazing. You can like watch almost anything for free. Let's see.
Oh yeah,
movie. Okay, let me see. Seeing clips here. I hate when it's like full movie and it's just like a clip.
Or it's I saw that and it was like a modern like horror western with Bill Paxton with vampires, and I was like,
oh dude, it's amazing.
How did I not watch this movie? So it's like,
oh dude, that came out the same year. That came out the same year as The Lost Boys, and it blows it out of the fucking water.
Man,
at least
fuck, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, you know what? Let's do that, and I'll see if I can find a link where people can watch it for free, and if not, fuck them. No, I don't mean that, folks. But yeah, so next week, tune in. We're going to be talking about Catherine Bigelow's classic Near Dark vampire movie that came out at around the exact same time as The Lost Boys, but is way, way, way better. And has Bill Paxton and my God, who else is in this? Oh my God, there's the chick in this.
Bunch of people. And that's from the director of was it Zero Dark 30?
Yeah, Catherine Bigelow.
It's like James Cameron's ex-wife or something, huh?
Yeah, it's got Lance Henriksen.
That's who it was.
Yeah, Oh god, and he's got a funny story that was in the special features for this about like how he and Bill Paxton, they were driving around and they were pretending that they were the characters, and they got pulled over by a cop, and the cop was on the passenger side, and Lance Henriksen looked up at him as the character they placed in this, and the cop jumped back and put his hand on his holster.
Oh shit, man! I can't wait to watch it, bro.
I think Paxton's just like, motherfucker, you're gonna get us fucking killed. But yeah, it's a very intense performance. It's a road movie. It's a road movie about a group of nomad vampires.
Nice.
And it is brutal. There's especially a scene in a bar or a roadhouse or honky tonk or whatever you want to call it. That's nasty business. Okay, folks, we're out of here. Peace and love. Like I always say, dream big, work hard, and play seriously. You got anything to say to the folks, Matt?
Nope. Roll the bones to know your role.
All right. Oh, and go back Butch Cleaver at Six Gun Girl.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Support indie comics, not just the big guys. All right. Peace out, people. Much love. Much love.